everyone! In this video, I'll teach you how I make VTuber logos like these. I'll be using Figma for this tutorial. If you want to learn more about it, you can check out my Figma tutorial videos. I use this because it's free, but the concepts should apply regardless of what application you're using. For this tutorial, I'll be creating a logo for the VTuber Jaybird games. The very first thing I do before creating a logo is to research about their design and branding. This can be in the form of a character sheet, their model itself, or other assets they've posted on their socials. I'll pull up some references I've taken from Jay's socials, and at this point I can start to identify patterns in colors and imagery. For colors, you can start by color picking directly from the model and references. For imagery, you need to pay close attention to common themes or icons that show up. I noticed Jay's branding tends to include the following: blue jays, the dice pin, bow ties and hats or formal attire in general. The theme of his branding seems to lean towards the Art Deco kind of styles, and you can see a lot of hexagons or angular shapes. These observations can really help you figure out what to add to the logo to make it more in line with the VTuber and their brand. Now that we've done our research, we can use what we know to pick a base font. This can differ depending on the VTuber and their persona or brand. For Jay, I found this font Limelight on Google Fonts. I thought it was a good match considering the Art Deco themes across the materials he's published. I like to think of fonts as having their own vibe, and you would ideally want a font with a similar vibe as the VTuber. For myself, I use a font with my own handwriting, but I thought it was a good match because I wanted to convey a more bubbly vibe. To make the base font look less boring, you can do some adjustments or customization. On Figma, I normally flatten the text layer and then do my adjustments with maybe the boolean groups or customizing the vertices themselves. To illustrate, this is how I did it when I made the fan-made UQ Wilson logo. And I'm gonna try it now for Jay's base text. So first I'll make a copy just to save the original text. Then I'll flatten or press Ctrl E. And then I'll try to start with adjustments between the letters themselves just to make them look better. For example, the space between the J and the A looks a bit too much for me. Same with the I and the R. Next, I'm gonna try to mock up how I want to decorate the letters to make them more meaningful to the character. So for example, I wanna add kind of blue jay wings on the J, the letter J, so I'll mock that up. Doesn't have to look perfect yet. I also think the dot on the I could be a dice, since that's one of the imagery we see on the design. Also want to incorporate like a bow tie maybe on the B. At this point, I have sort of an idea of what kind of decorations I want to add. I'll try to clean up the letters, see if there's anything I want to adjust there. At this point, I have a fourth version from the original text layer, and I've added kind of wing details, and I kind of rounded some of the corners to look a bit more like wings. I don't want it to look too busy though, so I might adjust that later on, but that's fine. So this is what I have right now after cleaning up the text. Now I can decide the base color and outline color. This takes a bit of experimentation, but one rule of thumb is to check how it looks against dark backgrounds and against light backgrounds too. So I'll try to do that by turning this layer into a component and then seeing how it looks against different background colors. Turning this into a component so that I can edit this and all copies of it will change. Okay, so I made some copies of the main component, place them against different background colors so that when I change, for example, the color of this one, I can see what happens. Picking colors can be kind of difficult or challenging. In this case, one thing I'm sure of is that I want to keep the main letters blue because I feel that's the main color of J's branding. And for the outline, there's a lot of possibilities here. I can use just a solid color. Obviously, I'm gonna have to clean this up, but yeah, I can use solid colors or maybe incorporating shadows like that, having shadows to make the letters pop out more. I can have like solid shadows too. Something like that. So there's a lot of possibilities. It's really gonna take some trial and error to see what works best for the logo and the color branding. What's important is that the letters are clear and easily readable. Another tip, and you'll notice that I've been duplicating as I go along or make changes. Another tip is to keep like a simple version of the logo, for example, like this. And then that will allow you to have like a white version or a black version or maybe, I don't know, gray version or blue version. This will make it easier for the client because they have a version of the logo that can be used anywhere or in any context or in any background. I kinda like the way the colors look now, so at this point I'll try to go letter by letter and figure out ways to make them look more interesting. First, I'll start with drawing out the decorations I made earlier, then I'll try to decorate the letters individually. And that's about it. Thank you for watching.
Quack quack.